Hello fellow gardeners, and welcome back to the Humus Heritage. I'm thrilled you're here today because we're about to explore something that's going to revolutionize the way you think about fall soil preparation. If you've been following traditional composting methods and feeling like you're waiting forever to see results, or if you're simply ready to take your soil health to the next level, this guide is exactly what you need. Let's be honest about something most gardening guides won't tell you. Traditional composting, while valuable, often leaves us waiting months for decent results. When fall arrives and we're scrambling to prepare our soil for winter dormancy and spring planting, we need faster, more potent solutions. The reality is that aerobic composting, the kind most of us practice with our turning bins and piles, requires constant oxygen, moisture management, and patience that extends well beyond a single season. This is where anaerobic fermentation changes everything. Instead of relying on oxygen-dependent microbes to slowly break down organic matter, fermentation harnesses specific beneficial bacteria that thrive in oxygen-free environments. These microorganisms work faster and produce compounds like lactic acid, enzymes, and organic acids that don't just feed your soil, they fundamentally transform its biological structure. The fermentation process creates bioavailable nutrients that plants can immediately access, while simultaneously building populations of beneficial microbes that suppress diseases and enhance root development. Fall is the perfect time to start these processes, because the cooler temperatures slow fermentation just enough to give you control, while the extended timeline before spring planting allows these amendments to integrate thoroughly into your soil ecosystem. Hack 1. The lactic acid leaf brew. This first technique takes those mountains of fall leaves and transforms them into liquid gold for your garden through the cultivation of lactic acid bacteria. Start by creating rice wash water. Rinse 1 cup of uncooked white rice with about a quart of non-chlorinated water. You want water that's either collected rainwater or tap water that's sat out for at least 24 hours to let chlorine evaporate. Stir until the water turns cloudy and starchy, then strain this liquid into a clean jar. Cover with a breathable cloth secured with a rubber band and tuck it away in a cool, dark spot for 3 to 7 days until it develops a slightly sour smell. Now comes the magic of culturing the lactic acid bacteria. Pour the middle layer of this fermented rice water into a fresh container, leaving behind any sediment at the bottom. Mix this stock with non-chlorinated milk at a ratio of 1 part stock to 10 parts milk. Cover again with breathable cloth and let this ferment for another 5 to 7 days in darkness. When you check on it, you'll find the mixture has separated into curds floating on top and a yellowish whey in the middle. That whey is your potent lactic acid bacteria serum, packed with microorganisms that will supercharge your soil's biological activity. Carefully siphon or strain this whey into a storage bottle. For long-term storage, stabilize it by adding an equal weight of molasses or brown sugar, which feeds the bacteria and keeps them viable for months. When you're ready to use it, dilute the serum at just 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. This diluted solution works wonders as a soil drench around established plants or as a compost accelerator. The lactic acid bacteria enhance decomposition of organic matter, suppress harmful pathogens in the soil, and make nutrients far more bioavailable to plant roots. Hack 2. Unlocking the power of pine needle probiotics. Pine needles are everywhere in fall, yet most gardeners treat them as a nuisance or avoid them entirely due to concerns about acidity. What they're missing is that pine needles contain natural yeasts and beneficial acids that, when properly fermented, create a specialized soil tonic that's particularly valuable for acid-loving plants and for balancing soil pH naturally. Collect fresh, clean pine needles, give them a gentle rinse if they're dirty, and cut them into smaller pieces before packing them loosely into a glass jar. Add 2 to 4 tablespoons of honey or molasses to the jar, then cover with non-chlorinated water, leaving 1 to 2 inches of headspace at the top. Seal the jar loosely or cover with cloth, and if you're using a tight seal, remember to burp it daily to release built-up gases. Place your jar in a warm location and watch for fermentation signs over the next 3 to 7 days. When the liquid becomes bubbly and develops a pleasantly sour smell, your pine needle probiotic is ready. Strain out the needles and dilute this fermented liquid substantially. We're talking about a ratio of 1 part brew to 500 parts water. This might seem extreme, but remember that fermented solutions are incredibly concentrated in beneficial compounds. Use this diluted tonic to water your garden, especially after heavy fall rains that can leach nutrients and disrupt soil balance. The antioxidants and organic acids in this brew help buffer pH swings while introducing beneficial yeasts that improve nutrient cycling. Acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, and rhododendrons respond particularly well to this amendment. Hack 3. The Root Vegetable Revival Elixir. As you're harvesting and preparing fall root vegetables, save those carrot tops, beet scraps, and radish ends for this incredible fermentation project. Root vegetables are mineral powerhouses, and their skins harbor diverse populations of beneficial bacteria that we can culture into a living soil tonic. Chop or grate a mix of organic root vegetables, carrots, beets, radishes work beautifully together. There's no need to peel organic vegetables, since the skin holds the most beneficial bacteria. Create a brine by dissolving 2 tablespoons of non-iodized salt in 1 quart of non-chlorinated water, which gives you approximately a 2.5% salt solution. Pack your chopped vegetables tightly into a clean jar and cover them completely with this room temperature brine. Use a weight, a smaller jar filled with water or even a clean cabbage leaf, to keep everything submerged beneath the brine's surface. Cover loosely, and let this ferment at room temperature for 1 to 2 weeks. The resulting liquid is an elixir rich in trace minerals and beneficial microbes that your soil will absolutely thrive on. Strain the liquid and use it as a soil drench, delivering not just nutrients, but living cultures of beneficial bacteria that colonize the rhizosphere around plant roots. The fermented vegetables themselves don't go to waste. Toss them into your compost pile, where they'll continue breaking down and contributing to your overall soil health strategy. This elixir is particularly valuable for replenishing trace elements that conventional fertilizers miss, creating a more complete nutritional profile in your soil. These fermentation hacks aren't one-time solutions, but rather the foundation of a sustainable soil management system that works in harmony with natural processes. Integrate these practices into your fall and winter routine by adding the lactic acid bacteria serum or leftover solids from any of these brews directly to your compost pile. This accelerates decomposition dramatically and helps cycle nutrients more efficiently through your entire garden ecosystem. Consider creating a layered insulating ferment in your garden beds this fall. Alternate carbon-rich materials like leaves with thin layers of compost, and moisten the layers with your diluted fermentation brews. This creates an environment where soil microbes remain active even through winter, slowly building soil structure and fertility while you're inside planning next season's garden. The key is consistent, dilute application of these microbially rich amendments throughout the growing season, rather than heavy, infrequent doses. This approach maintains populations of beneficial organisms that improve soil structure, increase earthworm activity, and build natural disease resistance. One critical point: to maintain the beneficial microbes these fermentation techniques promote, always use non-chlorinated water and avoid synthetic fertilizers and pesticides in treated areas. These chemicals can devastate the microbial populations you're working so hard to establish. By spring, you'll notice your soil has transformed. It's darker, more crumbly, and teeming with life. Plants establish faster, grow more vigorously, and show remarkable resilience to environmental stresses. If you found this guide valuable and you're excited to try these fermentation hacks in your own garden, please subscribe to the Humus Heritage and hit that notification bell so you never miss our soil-building techniques and seasonal gardening strategies. Share this video with fellow gardeners who are ready to move beyond basic composting and embrace the power of fermentation. Together, we're building healthier soil, one brew at a time. Happy fermenting, and I'll see you in the next video.